Hey, welcome back to the 5-Minute Strategist. As a small business leader, you have your own inherent leadership style. So you may have heard leadership styles described as authoritative or democratic or laissez-faire. However, this is not just a little label that you need to figure out for yourself. It's not like another quiz that you can take and then forget about. It actually tells you so much about how you approach problems or make decisions or how you interact with your team. If you're on the authoritative end, you may have very clear goals, expect extreme compliance, and have a culture that is high performance orientated. On the other hand, if you're the more democratic type of leader, you encourage your team to give you input. You create a more collaborative culture. So you can see how each style impacts the business strategy. And when your leadership style and your strategy are aligned, that's when they work together towards your goals. When they're not aligned, that's when it feels like sandpaper on each other. Like everything just feels a little crunchy in your business. The other key thing to understand is that leadership style is not just about how you interact with your team. We tend to think in terms of like, am I a micromanager? Am I hands off? Whatever it is, right? It's not actually just about that element of it. It actually gives you insight into how you view a challenge, how you set objectives, how you motivate your team, how you expect your daily operations to work. If you're a leader who prioritizes innovation, you're going to want your strategy to have more risk taking and to create more disruption in your industry. If you're more risk averse, you're going to look at incremental changes and look for steady growth. So you can see it starting to creep into how we set goals, but it also affects now how your team works towards those goals. You could have the same financial goal and two very different ways of getting there. And what you prioritize, your team will see as their own success markers. So did they get there carefully or did they take big risks for big reward? If you're more of an authoritative leader and you like control in your business, you're going to like a strategy that has you making a lot of the decisions and really strict guidelines that your team can operate within. Now, this might sound like something that you don't want to be, but actually this kind of strategy can lead you to be really efficient and really consistent. But yes, it is going to limit your team's ability to be creative because they're hemmed in by those guidelines. If you're the more participative style of leader, you are going to have a strategy that empowers your employees to give their input, to take ownership, to contribute. And that's going to create that culture of innovation and adaptability. But it might just take a bit longer for things to get done, right? If you're the first leader who wants things done quickly, being in a more participative style of strategy is going to feel frustrating to you because things aren't going to move fast enough. So you have to align your leadership style with your strategic objectives. If they're not aligned, it causes confusion, it causes inefficiency, and your team aren't 100% sure what they're doing because your strategy is telling them to do one thing and your leadership style is telling them to do a different thing. So you need to get those working together and pulling in the same direction so that your team knows what direction to pull in. The key here is to be 1, self-aware, and 2, honest about your leadership approach. Because once you are, you can use it to guide strategic decisions that focus on your strengths and mitigate any weaknesses. This is not about changing who you are, but looking to harness what you're naturally good at so that you can lead more effectively. If you're trying to be a type of leader that is too far removed from who you naturally are, this doesn't mean you can't grow and evolve. But if you are trying to go to the opposite end of the spectrum, that is going to feel incredibly hard for you to show up. You're almost showing up as a different person every single day, right? That's exhausting. But also it's not going to feel authentic to your team. They're going to notice the times that the mask drops. And this isn't going to make them feel safe. This is where distrust starts to creep in. The more your strategy fits your leadership style, the more your team knows exactly what to do, the more they can perform, the faster your business hits its goals. Your leadership style is going to be the driving force behind how you motivate your team, the culture you create, and how you execute your strategy. The more you can align your strategy with your natural leadership style, the smoother the journey to your goals is going to be. So is your strategy aligned with your leadership style?